objective reality is assumed to exist whether or not it is being observed. The existence of separate objects is assumed to be verifiable by observation, at least in principle. Ad Namid Sense 160 by 600_orange. The predominant feature of all objects is that they are by definition separate from each other. This means that separation is a basic assumption, so the observed object is assumed to be separate from the observed object. These are all nothing but assumptions. Consciousness, not matter, is the ground of all existence, declares University of Oregon physicist Goswami, echoing the mystic sages of his native India. He holds that the universe is self-aware, and that consciousness creates the physical world. Calling this theory monistic idealism, he claims it is not only the basis of all religions worldwide but also the correct philosophy for modern science. Once people give up the assumption that there is an objective reality independent of consciousness, the paradoxes of quantum physics are explainable. Bernard Heisch, whom is a well-respected and published astrophysicist, copiously quotes from sources as wide and varied as the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, Einstein, Schrödinger, James Jeans, Aldous Huxley, Freeman Dyson, and the list goes on, with the premise that all these sources are explaining or at least expounding upon the same thing, that is, consciousness creates matter, not the other way around. Spacetime, the observed universe, and the brain sensory system are all manifested simultaneously. This does not occur until the wave function for a sufficiently complex brain sensory system is present so that an aware, sentient being can be manifested simultaneously with the observation. Actually, this process is occurring constantly. Spacetime, observing objects and observed objects are constantly and simultaneously being materialized. As above, so below. The emerald tablet, Hermes Trismegistus. That which is above is the same as that which is below. Macrocosmos is the same as microcosmos. The significance of this phrase is that it is believed to hold the key to all mysteries. All systems of magic are claimed to function by this formula. The all is mind, the universe is mental. The Kybalion, for in him we live and move and have our being. As some of your own poets have said, we are his offspring. The Bible, Acts 17:28. The universe begins to look more like a great thought than like a great machine. Sir James Jeans, astrophysicist. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Teilhard de Chardin. We are God having a human experience. Bernard Heisch. Not that which the eye can see, but that whereby the eye can see, know that to be Brahman the eternal, and not what people hear adore. Not that which the ear can hear, but that whereby the ear can hear, know that to be Brahman the eternal, and not what people hear adore. Not that which speech can illuminate, but that by which speech can be illuminated, know that to be Brahman the eternal, and not what people hear adore. Not that which the mind can think, but that whereby the mind can think, know that to be Brahman the eternal, and not what people hear adore. The Kena Upanishad. The seeker is he who is in search of himself. Give up all questions except one. Who am I after all? The only fact you are sure of is that you are. The I am is certain. The I am this is not. Struggle to find out what you are in reality. To know what you are, you must first investigate and know what you are not. Discover all that you are not: body, feelings, thoughts, time, space, this, that, nothing, concrete or abstract, which you perceive can be you. The very act of perceiving shows that you are not what you perceive. The clearer you understand that on the level of mind you can be described in negative terms only, the quicker will you come to the end of your search and realize that you are the limitless being. Why are you unhappy? Because 99.9% of everything you think, and of everything you do, is for yourself, and there isn't one. Terence Gray. When you renounce your attachment, there is nothing to shake you. It is the feeling of possession, of clinging, that disturbs the mind. Buddha's teaching, paraphrased by Satchidananda. Advaita is a Sanskrit word that literally means not to. Synonyms of Advaita are non-duality, non-duality, non-duality. Advaita is not a philosophy or a religion. Non-duality is an experience in which there is no separation between subject and object, me and the rest of the universe, me and God. It is the experience of consciousness, our true nature, which reveals itself as absolute happiness, love and beauty. Consciousness is defined as that, whatever that is, which is aware of these very words right here, right now. Francis Lucille. I believe that consciousness and its contents are all that exists. Spacetime, matter and fields never were the fundamental denizens of the universe but have always been, from their beginning, among the humbler contents of consciousness, dependent on it for their very being. The world of our daily experience, the world of tables, chairs, stars and people, with their attendant shapes, smells, feels and sounds, is a species-specific user interface to a realm far more complex, a realm whose essential character is conscious. It is unlikely that the contents of our interface in any way resemble that realm. Indeed, the usefulness of an interface requires, in general, that they do not. For the point of an interface, such as the Windows interface on a computer, is simplification and ease of use. We click icons because this is quicker and less prone to error than editing megabytes of software or toggling voltages in circuits. Evolutionary pressures dictate that our species-specific interface, this world of our daily experience, should itself be a radical simplification, selected not for the exhaustive depiction of truth but for the mutable pragmatics of survival. If this is right, if consciousness is fundamental, then we should not be surprised that, despite centuries of effort by the most brilliant of minds, there is as yet no physicalist theory of consciousness, no theory that explains how mindless matter or energy fields could be, or cause, conscious experience. There are, of course, many proposals for where to find such a theory, perhaps in information, complexity, neurobiology, neural Darwinism, discriminative mechanisms, quantum effects, or functional organization. But no proposal remotely approaches the minimal standards for a scientific theory, quantitative precision and novel prediction. If matter is but one of the humbler products of consciousness, then we should expect that consciousness itself cannot be theoretically derived from matter. Donald Hoffman, cognitive scientist, UC, Irvine author, Visual Intelligence: How the Universal Mind Can See Itself. Western man has been disillusioned ever since the days of Copernicus, when that great astronomer revealed that the Earth was not the center of the universe. But recent discoveries in astronomy, physics, biology, paleontology, and geology show that a complex web joins us with our planet, our solar system, our galaxy, and with our universe. Suddenly a new vision of the universe is emerging. The universe is not a cold or hostile void. Instead, the Earth is a focal point where intricate forces have come together and spun the web of life. Hoemer von Dipfurth's exciting ideas suggest that evolution may be creation seen from a limited human perspective in the unfolding process of the universe. He detects an inner wisdom that suggests science and religion may simply be using different vocabularies to express identical truths. Dr. Bernard Heisch contends that there is a purpose and an underlying intelligence behind the universe, one that is consistent with modern science, especially the Big Bang and evolution. It is based on recent discoveries that there are numerous coincidences and fine-tunings of the laws of nature that seem extraordinarily unlikely. It seems that unfolding universe creates complex brain sensory systems which raise the level of its self-awareness. All life forms, driven by evolutionary adaptation, reflect in their design and function the properties of the physical environment in which they live. For example, birds' wing reflects aerodynamic properties, physical laws of the air, the body shape of the dolphin reflects hydrodynamic properties of the water, an eye reflects physical laws governing the light. The Kena Upanishad: by whom commanded and directed does the mind go towards its objects, commanded by whom does the life force, the first cause, move, at whose will do men utter speech, what power directs the eye and the ear? Thus the disciple approached the master and inquired concerning the cause of life and human activity. Having a sincere longing for truth, he desired to know who really sees and hears, who actuates the apparent physical man. He perceived all about him the phenomenal world, the existence of which he could prove by his senses, but he sought to know the invisible causal world, of which he was now only vaguely conscious. Is mind all-pervading and all-powerful, or is it impelled by some other force? He asked. Who sends forth the vital energy, without which nothing can exist? The teacher replies, it is the ear of the ear, the mind of the mind, the speech of the speech, the life of the life, the eye of the eye. The wise, freed from the senses and from mortal desires, after leaving this world, become immortal. An ordinary man hears, sees, thinks, but he is satisfied to know only as much as can be known through the senses. He does not analyze and try to find that which stands behind the ear or eye or mind. He is completely identified with his external nature. His conception does not go beyond the little circle of his bodily life, which concerns the outer man only. He has no consciousness of that which enables his senses and organs to perform their tasks. There is a vast difference between the manifested form and that which is manifested through the form. When we know that, we shall not die with the body. One who clings to the senses and to things that are ephemeral, must die many deaths, but the man who knows the eye of the eye, the ear of the ear, having severed himself from his physical nature, becomes immortal. Immortality is attained when man transcends his apparent nature and finds that subtle, eternal and inexhaustible essence which is within him. There the eye does not go, nor speech, nor mind. We do not know that we do not understand how it can be taught. It is distinct from the known and also it is beyond the unknown. Thus we have heard from the ancient teachers who told us about it. These physical eyes are unable to perceive the subtle essence. Nor can it be expressed by finite language or known by finite intelligence, because it is infinite. Our conception of knowing finite things is to know their name and form, but knowledge of God must be distinct from such knowledge. This is why some declare God to be unknown and unknowable, because he is far more than a mind or speech can perceive, comprehend or express. The Upanishad does not say that he cannot be known. He is unknowable to man's finite nature. How can a finite mortal apprehend the infinite whole, but he can be known by man's godlike nature? That which speech does not illumine, but which illumines speech, know that alone to be the Brahman, the Supreme Being, not this which people worship here. That which cannot be thought by mind, but by which they say, mind is able to think, know that alone to be the Brahman, not this which people worship here. That which is not seen by the eye, but by which the eye is able to see, know that alone to be the Brahman, not this which people worship here. That which cannot be heard by the ear, but by which the ear is able to hear, know that alone to be Brahman, not this which people worship here. That which none breathes with the breath, but by which breath is inbreathed, know that alone to be the Brahman, not this which people worship here. Ordinarily we know three states of consciousness only: waking, dreaming and sleeping. There is, however, a fourth state, the superconscious, which transcends these. In the first three states the mind is not clear enough to save us from error, but in the fourth state it gains such purity of vision that it can perceive the divine. If God could be known by the limited mind and senses, then God knowledge would be like any other knowledge and spiritual science like any physical science. He can be known, however, by the purified mind only. Therefore to know God, man must purify himself. The mind described in the Upanishads is the superconscious mind. According to the Vedic sages, the mind in its ordinary state is only another sense organ. This mind is limited, but when it becomes illumined by the light of the cosmic intelligence, or the mind of the mind, then it is able to apprehend the first cause, or that which stands behind all external activities. The Kena Upanishad related links PS an example of as above, so below. While working on the illustration for the above post, we found something very intriguing. Perhaps it is just a coincidence. Please look at the following images and send us your feedback. Click to enlarge any of the images below. The image above depicts the galaxy IC 342, dubbed the Hidden Galaxy. IC 342 was discovered in 1895 by W. F. Denning. Edwin P. Hubble suspected it as a member of the local group, but later observations showed that it is at a distance of at least about 6, perhaps more probably 10 million light-years. IC 342 lies at low galactic latitude, only 10.5 degrees from the galactic equator, or the Milky Way's disk plane. Therefore, it is heavily obscured by interstellar matter of the Milky Way. Recent estimates give an extinction of about 2.4 magnitudes. Without this extinction, this galaxy would be among the brightest in the sky, and certainly have been discovered much earlier. Image was published on the Astronomical Picture of E. Day, October 5, 2006 with credit copyright Robert Gendler. More info http www.seds.org/spider-spidlego342.html Chambered Nautilus shell. The image source d9.mview chambered_nautilus_shelliver.html Superimposed images of the Nautilus shell and galaxy. IC 342 Superimposed images of semi-transparent photo of the Nautilus shell and galaxy. IC 342 Many of the bright stars seem to appear on the ribs of the Nautilus shell pattern. Note: by displaying images on this site, there is no intention to infringe any legitimate intellectual right, artistic rights or copyright. If you are the rightful owner of any photo or images posted here, and believe that it should not be displayed or that suitable credit is required, then please email the webmaster and arrangements will be made for the image to be removed, or alternatively credit provided where it is due. This site and its content are free of charge, and therefore the site's owner does not gain any financial benefit from the display and/or download of any of images displayed.